Good morning, October 10th, and it is 8:15 in the morning. We're getting ready to go, but I thought to do things a little different this morning. Rather than me telling you where we're going and how far and all that, I would let Haha Bear take over. So, Haha Bear. All right, so Haha Bear, take a moment and tell us where we're going this morning.
We're going to Lijon. It's a city up in the mountains.
Well, you could be a little bit more detailed. What altitude is that city?
Well, I checked the map this morning. It's about 9,000 feet up. That's pretty high, even for a bear like me.
Well, how many miles are we traveling today?
Oh, the tracks tell me it's only 203 miles, which is about 330 kilometers.
Well, all right, anything else you want to add?
Well, I'm really enjoying the trip on the back of the bike. It's really a super handling machine. Thanks for taking me along. I'm a BMW ambassador as well, so that's important to me. Goodbye, everybody.
9:30 a.m. on the 10th, and to paraphrase the words of U2, we're at the river that has no name. Of course, it does have a name. I just don't know what the name is. And you can see here, it's difficult to see, but out there you can see this is the confluence of two rivers, one that has green water coming in and one that has dirty brown water coming in. And so the dirty brown water, I presume, is probably coming out of the mountains because that's the direction we just came from. The green water might be at a sort of plateau level. In any case, we have traveled about 30 miles this morning, and it's been a wonderful ride, lots of awesome turns and such. So that is all, and more to come later. Thank you. Alrighty then, October 10th, 10:20 in the morning, and we're at a gas station, but we're not getting gas. That's interesting. We're almost always getting gas at gas stations. So we stopped here because it's a little bit of a coffee break, and also looking across the way is this fascinating structure. It's a pretty big building, and it's built right on the river. It looks like it's going to be some sort of a promenade when they get done, but man, it is massive and multi-layered, and this is earthquake territory as we understand it. So that looks like I don't know if that is built to earthquake standards or not. I guess we'll find out at some point in the future. At any rate, I have now mounted and I'm wearing my cooling vest. It's already approaching 80 degrees. Looks like it's going to be a hot day. All the fears that we had of riding at 9,000 feet in the mountains and getting cold seems to have disappeared. We will end the day going through a 9,000 foot pass and then down to 72 or 7,800 feet. Nevertheless, for now, it's hot, and I'm going to take care of that. That's all. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, October 10th, 12:40 p.m. We are at a mango stop. Not everybody, most people purchase fresh mangoes. I have one in my pannier. I purchased some dried mangoes. The mangoes were maybe the best mango I've ever had in my life. Just not too fibrous, really juicy and soft, just unbelievable. However, there is a problem. The problem is that the van is now not operational. He pulled in right behind us, parked, there was a clunk noise, all of a sudden now it has no drive front or back, and they're trying to lift it off the ground, and people are diagnosing it in a lot of different theories, but nobody knows for sure what is happening yet. So, at any rate, that's the current state. More to come. We're thinking that in the next few minutes we're going to head into town, get lunch, and they're going to have to call someone to come and tow the van and so on and so forth. So that's where we're at. More to come. 1:19 p.m. October 10th, and that's a beautiful valley below. I think that's the town we're going to for lunch, but I couldn't swear by it. Don't know. I guess we'll find out. We should have been at lunch already. It's now 17 miles. It was only supposed to be 18K to lunch, so I'm not sure what went wrong, but in any case, that's the video, that's the valley. See ya.
On the lips. It's even on the lips.
It is 2 o'clock, we're at the restaurant, and we are celebrating Taiwan Independence Day. Everybody's got flags here, and Charles is taking pictures of us. And so here's to Taiwan, and may they celebrate many happy years into the future. All right, 4 p.m. We're at a gas station filling up the bikes with the small tanks. And that last stretch, I think Phil put it well. They threw everything at us. There was every kind of freaking obstacle you could imagine except for mud and deep gravel. Everything else, trucks and like all kinds of crazy things. Really, really a lot of fun. A lot of sweeping turns. My God, that was a ball. And to get closure on the van. So, can you see the van over there? The van is back. The van is with us. Turns out that the whole drama was just because the van was high-sided or centered on a stump, and none of the wheels could drive. And so they put it up in a jack, lifted it high enough, and then let it fall off the jack backward, and that got it off the stump, and that worked perfectly. Now we have about 60 miles still to go. The mountain pass, the high mountain pass, is going to start soon. That'll take us up to 9,000 feet. We're at roughly 6,600 now. Getting ready to go, and now the rain, looks like the rain is starting, so oops. And I have a cooling vest on, and I think that's a bad idea, so I'm going to take that off and put on rain gear. More to come. See ya. Bye.
Okay, the time is 4:55, and you'll notice that I'm at a tire shop. And you'll notice that that tire, you may not know, but that tire is my tire, and that wheel is my wheel. And you'll notice that it no longer has air in it. That's because I punctured it. And in fact, there's the hole right there. See that great big hole? That's what happened. And I was hot shoeing it through a mud field, having fun passing everybody. And when I got to the far side of the mud field, the bike just started squirming around. And as a result, I knew I had a flat. I pulled over. Turns out I pulled over right in front of a place that repairs flats and cars. So my timing was perfect. And they're working on the tire for me, and we'll see what happens when they're done. So that's it for now. All right, here is phase 2, where they try and get the second half of the tire off the rim. And we have mentioned before that hide-nows are especially difficult. This proves it. We got the first one off. Yeah, there we go. Good.
复原了，你的车车差的。
手机下。
嗯。
Whew. All right. It's 8:30. It's October 10th. And oh my God, what a crazy end to a crazy day. You've heard me reporting that the riding was amazing today, etc., etc. So with about 60 miles to go, so about 150 miles complete, we came upon a section of dirt, mud, rocks, and such, and so I love that stuff. And I was toward the back, and we hit it, and it's easier for me if I can open the bike up and ride at a faster pace through that stuff rather than going slow. And I hadn't had a chance to do that for a while, so I thought I would open it up, and so I cracked open the throttle and took off. And you know, many of the guys that were riding in the back, I sort of blew by them and was having a ball. And it was probably, I don't know, 300 yards or so of this stuff, and I was flying. And the next thing I knew, we're almost at the end of this mud area, and all of a sudden the bike felt really, really horrible, like almost undrivable. It was fishtailing and doing all kinds of things, and I immediately knew that's the sign of a flat tire, and it was a flat tire in the rear. So I made my way to the end of the mud and pulled off on the side of the road, and there was like a complex on my left. There was a bizarre-looking complex on my right where there was a bunch of cars that were in various states of disrepair and so on. And so I tried to put the bike on the kickstand, realized that the angle of the dirt that I was on was wrong. I was by myself at this point. All the other riders had seen me, probably noticed that I had a flat tire. They could see the bike fishtailing, But, the protocol is they continue, and they continued. So I was the last one. Everybody had passed me, and I was waiting for the van, but the van didn't show up for quite a while. So I'm struggling to figure out what to do, because I can't get the bike in the kickstand. So I eventually motor the bike out onto the tar again, get it going the other direction, try and find a place on some concrete to put it up on the center stand to have a look at the tire. That didn't work. There was too much of an incline, so I turned around again, and I thought to myself, I'm going to pull into this area on the right where there's a bunch of abandoned cars and get the bike repaired there, or do something. But I can't just pull in, because the van will go right by. The van won't know that I'm pulled in there, and they'll miss me. So right at this point, Bruno shows up, and he says, what's going on? And I let him know that I had a flat tire. So Bruno stayed with me. We talked for a few seconds. I pulled into that area and started thinking about getting the bike on the kickstand, on the center stand, while Bruno waited for the van, flagged him down. Mike came as the lead guide on his motorcycle. He came back, and so there was Bruno, Mike, and eventually Mark showed up in the van. So there was the three of us, and we were looking at it, put the bike up on the center stand, and found a massive hole in the rear tire, unrepairable. So we needed to put a new tire on it. We went through this process of putting a new tire on, but this is a shop in China where they work on cars, and they're extremely confident, but they don't understand that working on cars and working on motorcycles are wildly different. So the tools that they tried to use were wrong, and Heidenau K60 Scout tires are nefariously difficult to mount and unmount. And the rear in particular, the sidewalls, are so rigid that they're almost impossible to get off. Like, you have to have a skilled guy with a proper machine. And if we didn't have that, we didn't have a skilled guy or the proper machine. And so we spent an hour trying to get this old tire off and then the new tire on. So anyway, I thought, I'll tell more of the story in the blog itself, but it was... I guess the really important thing is, after we got it fixed, we had 60 miles to go, but it was already 5:45 or so, close to 6 o'clock, 5:55. So we were looking at the sun. We're thinking the sun's going to set, and I'm not going to have enough time. 60 miles, if you're going 60 miles an hour, you can do in an hour. But these were going to be roads up and over a mountain pass. They were not going to be 60 miles an hour. There's going to be some 10-mile-an-hour turns in there and so on and so forth. So at any rate, I did the best I could for 20 miles, and my vision at twilight is not very good. And so I pulled over and I said to Mark, look, I'm not going to be able to drive safely in this kind of weather. Even with the Clearwater lights, it's just too unpredictable. There's too many holes, potholes, wet spots, slick spots on the road. It would have been far too dangerous. So we pulled over, loaded the bike in the van, and then the three of us traveled the remaining 40 miles to the hotel. I just got to the hotel, and the bellman helped me carry my bags in. So I'm now in my hotel room, and it's been a wild day. But you've heard enough from me. Now I want to get a report from Ha Ha Bear. He was part of all this, and so he knows better than anybody what was going on. And so I'm going to stop the video, and I'll do a quick interview with Ha Ha Bear. All right, Ha Ha Bear, first of all, your suit is looking a little dirty. What is the root cause of all that dirt on your suit?
Well, I've been riding in the back, and there's been rain, and there's dirt in the air, and I'm toughing it out back here. But for crying out loud, it's rough going, and I'm doing the best I can.
Ha Ha Bear, I don't mean to sound like I'm accusing you. I was just thinking maybe you need to wash the suit.
Well, I think that's a fair statement. Maybe I'll give it a wash tomorrow.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the flat tire. You were on the back when I was going through the mud.
That's right. I was on the back, and I was looking at all the people you were passing, and they were waving, and it was fantastic. I felt the bike flying through the mud, and I was having a ball.
Well, and then what happened? Did you feel the flat tire like I did?
Absolutely. I felt the bike getting squirrely. You know what squirrely is, Cliff? Do you know what that means?
Yes, Ha Ha Bear, I know what squirrely means.
Well, it got squirrely, and when it got squirrely, it started fishtailing like that, and I had confidence that you were going to be able to control it, but I didn't know what we were going to do. We might get stranded, and I'm not really dressed for rain, so I was hoping that someone would stop for us.
Well, you know that the van is always in the back, and the van's always going to stop for us.
Right, but, how do I know? I mean, I'm just a bear.
Well, that's a good point. You are just a bear, but you are a BMW bear.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so anything else that you want to add?
Well, I just thought that it was really wonderful that Bruno came back and Mike came back and Mark helped you and you did your best, but you can't see and that's dangerous. I'm glad you pulled over because I couldn't see either. I'm a bear and I'm supposed to be able to shit in the woods and see in the woods, but I couldn't. It was dark.
All right. Any last comments then, Ha Bear?
Well, it's great to be in this super nice hotel room. This very cushy. This pillow is so soft. I'm falling asleep right now.
All right. Then thank you for your interview, Ha Bear. Good night.
Good night, Cliff.